Coach Leonard, you've had a great run and it's just starting for you. Your career is going to skyrocket the way you're going, and you're doing great things with Queens. Let's dive into how you're building it because I think there's some pieces to how a Division I coach builds a program that just need to be talked about more and understood more. There's too many kids. We don't want them to stop chasing that dream of Division I, but we want them to understand that there may be better options for them. And so, talk a little bit about just the overall picture of how you build a Division I program and what are some of those pieces that you have to put time into.
Yeah, I think first, your goal as a coach should be obviously depending on your system, but to build the most talented roster you can get within your system. Okay. And talent looks different for different systems. So you got to understand that there's the Princeton systems and then there's the pressing systems. And so every system is different, but you want the most talented pieces for that system. So when you're building a roster, you're thinking about that all the time. Like, how do I accrue the most talent possible that fits within our system? And then also like the balance of, okay, culturally, like you can't play when you have 13 or 15 scholarships, you can't play all those guys. So there's going to be some developmental pieces on that. Okay. But what does that look like talent wise? And then the expectation of who's going to play. And then if we had some injuries, who might have to play. And then also developing players. So there's a combination of those things. But I think as you build the team, you have to, as a coach, you want to have more talent than the other teams.
How hard is it at your level right now going after talent where you may get outbid? What does that look like where now it's so transactional where it used to be almost all relational, especially when you guys were at the D2 level? How do you attack that kid? You're like, God, I love that kid. He would be the perfect three in our system, but I know somebody's going to give him this amount of money. And do you keep
Well,
attacking that? Do you go after that, or does that give you pause?
first, I still think that relationships and the building of those relationships and maintaining them is still a huge part of recruiting.
Good.
And in general, I'm not going to lose a kid to an ACC school because they outbid me. That kid has ACC recruitment. I can't afford him anyway.
Right.
Okay. That's just how it works. So, in general, you're still recruiting against, in my opinion, usually like schools. Okay.
How are you determining that though? Do you know that going into the situation? You just know ACC is already on that kid, so you don't waste your time? Or is there times where you go, I like that kid, and then you find out that Wake Forest or North Carolina is already looking at him and talking to him?
If say a kid is claiming that he has that recruitment or those offers, it's finding out if that's truthful, and okay, are they really serious about them and where are they at, and that's where the relationship piece comes in. The people around them should hopefully there's a truth teller in there, okay, that's going to tell you, well, yes, Wake Forest called, but he does not have a visit set up yet, and especially when you're talking about portal recruiting, that happens really fast, and so there's some opportunity for you there if they're not that aggressive. But if a kid has six high majors,
Yeah.
one of them, and so that one you avoid. And then you honestly, if you have real good relationships, I can call Wake Forest too. And we all collaborate together. It's not that competitive in that Wake Forest and NC State are competitive against each other. But the guys at Wake Forest will, if I call them like, hey, Grant, like we're really recruiting that kid. You don't need to waste your time. Cool, thanks. Got it.
Right.
Now you can still put a line out to a kid. Hey man, I hope you get that Wake Forest thing, but if everything falls through, you give me a call. And I've had that work. We had a kid last year from Fresno State. He was an all-conference player for us. Transferred from Fresno, he graduated, and he had a year left, and his perceived market was higher. And I told him, I said, look, I would love to coach you. This is what we have. Why don't you take 2 or 3 weeks and figure out if that's really your market? And if it's not, give me a call back. He called back 2 weeks later. He's like, Coach, I'm ready to do the visit. I said, okay. I said, but remember, this is where we're at. Don't come on this visit if it's not enough. And he came, he loved it. He came here, he got everything he wanted. He's playing pro now, and it was a win-win. But
Yeah.
sometimes you got to put the hook out there and just let them know. But like this, we're not bidding. This isn't a negotiation. This is what we have. And if it's not enough, don't come. Don't
That's
come.
right. How often are you saying that on the phone?
A lot.
Yeah.
But when you have a good staff, they're saying it first. Don't get me into a situation where a kid wants what we can't have, twice what we can't have. And I tell them all, I'm not negotiating on a visit. You guys are going to know where we're at. This is what we're going to have. And if it's not enough, then don't have them fly out here and waste our time.
When is that happening in the layers of conversation where money is topic number one? Is that happening on the first phone call? Or
Unfortunately, yeah,
is it now where it's, if you're not having that conversation, you're wasting their time and yours?
100%. Way too early, but it's the reality of it. Things move fast with the portal. So it is part of it. But I'd rather know right away, too. Okay, if you want 600 grand, this is not the place for you.
Right. Where's it at with freshmen? Because maybe let's go back a step. How are you building your roster? Are you still looking at freshmen? Are you always looking at the portal? What's the percentage you want to bring in every year? Let's say you need 5 bodies, 6 bodies. Is it 4 portal kids and a freshman, or is it something different?
It's different every class, but we have signed and played freshmen every year that I've been here. And we have 2 freshmen in our rotation right now. I'm really big on that. And again, we talked about talent, okay? And so I think the high school pool right now is under recruited.
Great.
So I can get a more talented player in high school than maybe I can in the portal. But the portal player is more developed and experienced and more established as far as I know what they're probably going to do and what their output is, what their ceiling is, but also what their floor is. Freshmen, there's more volatility in that. Okay.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of bad habits with freshmen that you got to break and you got to be willing to break and you got to coach them different. And you got to be upfront about that in the recruiting process. But the 2 freshmen I have, I can honestly say we have 3 freshmen. One's redshirted. He's really talented, but 2 freshmen are in the rotation. They are probably talented above our level, but they do dumb things above our level too. And so we're every game they're getting a little more consistent, but they still, but really good players, really
Good.
good players. So now I'm willing to do that. Some coaches are not right now, and
Yeah.
some coaches are not built to develop those players. They're built to coach ready-made players. It's
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
but you got to know what you are as a coach.
What bothers me with all of this is, and you stated this in the last segment, how important development is to you and how that still motivates you and drives you as a coach. I don't know how you got into this business where that wasn't a piece of who you are and what you enjoyed doing as a coach. And the long term effect of bringing in that freshman is you get to develop them your way with your strength conditioning coaches, with your system, with how you see their future in your culture. If you can keep that kid for 4 years, that just seems like a huge advantage for your program, doesn't it?
It is, but right now it's the exception. It used to be the rule.
Yeah.
And then the exception was a kid leaves. Well,
Yeah.
now it's the opposite. And every school is different. Queens is built to retain players more often because of the nature of the school and the academics of it. When you choose an academic school, there's a strong component to that. And Queens is an academic school.
Right.
So that's a part of the decision making process and then part of the environment that the family and the kid want. And so I think we're able to retain more, which is an advantage for us in our league. And you see it every year. We typically retain more than most teams.
You started to see it a lot from in the last. You talked about Roy Williams and Krzyzewski. I think they both at the end of their career accepted, I'm going to go after that kid I may only have for a year that's going to go to the pros. Do you have to think that way about the freshmen you bring in? If they come in and they have a great year, that you may lose them to a power four?
I think it's transparency. Like you have to tell the families up front. If I'm really doing this the right way and I'm really developing your son, when they develop past a point to where we can no longer afford what their market value is, then I have to be willing to not only let you go, but help you make sure you get to a spot where you get everything you want, goal you want, along with the money that you want, along with the type of culture and environment you want. Okay. And if you're not willing to do that as a coach, then the environment will be broken and people will be doing things behind your back the whole time, which still probably happens some. But if you're really doing it right and they trust you with the development of their player and their son, then they're going to trust you that you're going to tell them the right thing at the end of the year and year to year that everyone will be on the same page.
That
And I
you're the partner in their life journey.
That's correct. and that they'll always be a part of your family if we're doing this right, even if they leave.
It's great. It's such a great statement about your character and really what the nature of our business should be if we're doing this right. This is a tough question, and I don't mean it one way or another. I'm not looking for an answer. I just want to hear your thoughts on it. Where does loyalty play in our game today in the world of higher education? Is it even in the top 10 of what we're looking for anymore? Is loyalty even valued anymore?
I believe it is, and I believe it is with the right kids too, with character. But I'll be honest with you, like just because a kid leaves doesn't mean they're not loyal. Okay, there's a lot of kids who do leave who are exceptionally loyal. And let's also say it this way. Coaches leave too.
Right.
And just because a coach leaves doesn't mean they're not loyal. Okay, but like when you have a life-changing opportunity, sometimes you gotta go. And that
Yeah.
doesn't mean I've always had 10 toes in at Queens. 10 toes in.
Yeah.
And I desperately want to take Queens to the national tournament. Okay. Eh, And that is an amazing thing. And I would want to build Queens into a sustainable ASUN power. And if this was my last job ever, it would be an amazing experience. Like what Bob McKillop built at Davidson and what John Becker's built at Vermont and what Rick Bird built at Belmont. Awesome. I would love to do that. And if it works out, awesome. But that if I ever left, that doesn't mean I'm not loyal to Queens. And I say that when a kid leaves, like we had a young man who spent 5 years here, AJ McKee. He actually just texted my phone because he's probably here for Christmas, but he's playing pro. But he left here after his 5th year, had another year, and he got a chance to make life-changing money. And I
Yeah.
helped him do that.
Yeah.
And he still went and played pro, and he still comes back here. This is still home for him. That school he went to really was his first pro job.
Yeah.
But AJ is unbelievable loyal to Queens, and I'm unbelievable loyal to AJ. He handled everything the right way, and there's a lot of kids that do it the right way, and that to me is what matters, the character in which you go about how you do it.
Said coach said. Talk a little bit about where we're headed real quick. And I don't want to get into the weeds with this too much, but I just want you to give your perspective on where we're getting with rules and processes with the portal and especially NIL. Or is there going to be some changes that are going to make things healthier to where we can have some competitive balance? Or do you see that ship's already sailed?
Yeah, I don't think any of that's happening. And I'm going to be upfront and honest. The division is only going to continue to grow. And that's part of it. It is. In theory, now you can have equal competition for a player. I can pay a player, they can pay a player. If I want to value that player more, I can pay him more. But everything's still financially constrained. Schools can afford what they can afford. They're in their market for a reason, and that's a part of it. It doesn't bother me at all. What is important to me is the competitive balance of your league.
Yeah.
And if there's what you don't want is two schools way up here and then the rest of them way down here with their budget. You want it to be pretty close to equitable. And that's what makes for a competitive league. And in a league that is trying to continually grow and push boundaries, that's awesome, which
Yeah.
I believe our league is doing. But no, I don't think that Queens should be worried about competing with North Carolina for a recruit or NC State. Like that's silliness, and it's never been like that. And so I shouldn't worry about that. I should worry about how do I build the best ASUN team,
Right.
and how do I keep that culture and environment sustainable so that we're constantly competitive and every
Yeah.
year.
Because at the end of the day, you can get the same size that Duke of North Carolina has. You can find the same speed, find maybe the same type of shooter, maybe not the 3 or 4 categories that they have. Maybe you're getting 1 or 2 of those categories. Am I saying
Yeah,
that right?
there's one or two things that, man, that make them attractive for this level, but they have a hole or two.
Yeah.
And when you go to the highest levels, they have less holes, or they have a trait that is just so insanely good that it's translatable. And you can tell if at this level, at this point in my career, if I can't walk into the gym and say that kid's going to play in the SEC or ACC, then I'm probably not good at my job. But I think
Right.
that most of us can do that. Okay, that kid, I don't need to worry about that one right now unless something crazy happens. I'm going to worry about these kids over here.
That's got to be the great motivator for you going, okay, I'm going to build this roster. We're going to compete for the ASUN championship, but I'm going to get these guys ready that when we play in April, that last week of March and early April, and we make it to the dance, we're going to make this group transformative. We're going to put them in a position where they can compete with those ACC schools. Is that still what motivates you?
For sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
everyone wants to in that on that biggest setting, everyone dreams of March Madness. That's why when people ask, should they expand the tournament? Absolutely they should. First of all, there's more teams in Division One, but let's talk about the kids and their dreams.
Yeah.
How many different kids get to accomplish that dream of playing in March Madness or maybe hitting a shot? People are like, it's just a playing game. Man, for some kids, that is life-changing. Let's have more kids have their dream.
Right.
It's still hard to get there. Trust me when I say that. Like it is impossibly hard to get there in a one bid league. But let's not forget why we do this. All of this has been about the kids.
Yeah.
And so we're a player forward program and I should be about helping them accomplish their dreams. And the NCAA should be about that too. They should be. And so letting more teams in the dance for me, it makes sense.
All right, coach, I'm going to unleash you. Give the 16-year-old high school boys basketball player that wants to play at your level, give him a piece of advice.
First, go where you wanted. Okay. And you can tell when someone wants you because they learn about you, they learn about the people around you, they're in your environment, they come to your games, they come to your practices, you can tell when you're really being recruited. So I will tell you this, and this is a huge thing for me. Everyone, I've had so many people ask me, like, how can I get on your radar? And I'm going to be honest with you, you can't.
Yeah.
I protect my radar because I want to spend 99% of my time recruiting the 1% of kids that I probably shouldn't get that can change our program
Right.
versus me spending a lot of time with kids that are trying to get me to want them and I don't know if they're good enough. Like because I haven't evaluated them. I can walk in a gym and figure out who can play for us. Then I got to figure out can I actually get involved with them and can we get them here? But I don't want to spend a bunch of time recruiting a bunch of kids who I don't know if they're good enough. That's for me, that is wasteful time. So I don't respond to outsourced emails. I don't. And I pretty much only respond to Queen's emails. I don't answer recruiting text messages, LinkedIn's, Facebook's, Instagrams, Twitter's, X's, any of it. I don't answer any of it. I don't look at it. I don't watch the videos because I get 200 a day and if I spent 2 minutes opening up 200 a day on each one, that'd be 400 minutes. That'd be two-thirds of my day gone on kids I don't know. I
Right.
spend that time on the players I want that I've identified and I really recruit them. So go where you wanted because that's where you're going to have an impact because that's where that coach believes you're going to have an impact. And with the way the system works now, if you think you're above that level, go crush it at the level you're wanted, and then you'll go up. But right now, I'm sorry to tell you, emailing me 50 times is not going to change the fact I'm not going to open email.
Yeah, and if I'm sitting here with you as a first year Division two coach or an NAI coach or a D3 coach, your message is probably greatly different. But what families need to understand and kids need to understand, you have all the talent you could possibly want in your funnel. You know how to get them, you know how to chase them, you know you're going to get a percentage of them. So be smart about your time if you're a recruit as well.
And I wouldn't hire a recruiting service, and I apologize to any recruiting service out there because I only trust a handful of people in this business.
Yeah.
And so if they bring me a name, I'm going to look at it, but
Yep.
it still has to be through my lens and understand what a Queens player looks like. But I'm not like having your coach reach out to me. I'm still not responding to that either
Yeah.
because I just don't have that time to do that. And again, now people say, well, you got to recruit 5, 6 players a year, but to recruit 5 or 6 players a year, I only got to offer about 10.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be really focused and intentional on the 10.
10 out of 10,000, 20,000 that you might see,
Correct.
staff might see. Set. All right, break this into two answers if you want. Same piece of advice for the high school coach, club coach that's helping kids get recruited. What advice would you give to them?
Don't focus on the recruitment. and focus on them getting better. Dribble, passing, and shooting, and pressuring the basketball. Those four things. Can they dribble? Can they pass? Can they shoot? Can they guard the ball? And if they can do those three things, they're going to get, or four things, they're going to get recruited. Instead, we're worried about, I'm going to send them to this camp. I'm going to go here. I'm going to go do this. I'm going to go do that. And really getting better is about putting the work in every single day and waking up and doing it again and again. And the issue is everyone wants to shortcut it. Everyone thinks they can jump the process. You can't. You will, like, again, coaches, there's a reason why successful coaches are successful. They attract good players because they continue to develop them. And as a coach, if you continue to develop kids, more kids will come. And you can't fake the recruiting. If you think you can, the kid will go to the wrong level and get tossed back down. And that's the worst thing that can happen to a kid is they go too high, they get a terrible experience, and then now they're on the wayside going down, and their confidence is broken.
Yeah.
So
Where it could have been the other way around, where they could have got developed and got great confidence, great opportunity, figured out who they were, and maybe got a chance to go up.
correct,
Yeah.
correct. And in general, there's enough, especially with the internet now, there's enough eyeballs out there. They're going to get seen. I honestly would rewrite how we do our entire recruiting system. We would, AU is broken. They play more games than practice. The development's not there. Kids get hurt because they're playing too many games. And there's no scouting or strategy involved in those games, which is a part of basketball. So I wish that we'd go closer to the European model, practice 5 days, play one, but we're not there because it's a monetary driven system and everyone wants money, everyone wants to get paid, and you don't get paid from practice.
And nobody wants to develop the coaches. That's what's great about Europe is they have a certification program. You have to go through the process to be a coach. You have to know how to run those 5 practices. You have to know how to develop the mind and the body and the system and the strategy that goes with it. So that you're right. That's where we fail. And I'm so thankful that you said it out loud. Last piece of advice for the parents. What do you want to tell those parents that got that young boy or girl that wants to go to college and play?
It's going to sound similar. Support them in their development and not their exposure. And work, have them be process orientated about practice and getting better and being coachable and really just working daily to get better. And the exposure will take care of itself. And then don't be the parent like you're coaching them on the sideline because it's a huge turnoff. But also the fact that it's just an impossible situation. Honestly, I used to not say this. I used to believe it's not the kid's fault. I don't worry about the parent. We'll get them here and it'll be fine. But the parents are still so involved in college now that we have to be careful of who we bring in the program and how their parents are handling things and having parents. I'm gonna shout out to a family on this right now, the Henrys, and Isaiah is a freshman. He was highly touted. He actually his first game this year got a DNP. His parents did not freak out. They did not call me. They said, and I quote, when I ran into them, we believe you. We know you love our son. And he is now playing. He's getting better and better. He's only going to keep getting better. But that is the right mindset. And they didn't overreact. And it's unbelievable to have families like that in our organization.
Great stuff. Coach, you're wearing a fabulous Santa sweater. I love it. And if for those listening, you're going to be listening to this in early January. Coach and I are talking right before Christmas. So, Coach, thank you so much for doing this on one of your very few hours off from coaching and planning. And thanks for doing this during the holidays. And I wish you and your family and your players and Queens all the best this holiday season.
It was my pleasure to be on here. And please like, if people have questions, have them reach out. And I think the biggest thing is this might reach one person or no people and it makes an impact. But if it impacts one person, it made a difference. And I learned so many lessons on my coaching journey and have so many people to be thankful for in a season where everyone should be thankful in the holiday season. But there's so much to learn and so much growth for me. And if I could give back, but also know that I'm learning from you as well.
Coach, I tell you, this is why I do this. You've articulated some things today that I've had Hall of Famers on that didn't do as good a job as you have, and just expressing the reality of college sports, what's going on, how we need to take a step back and reevaluate how we're attacking it and how we're going about it. So I really appreciate it. This is going to be one of those podcasts that's made me a better coach, made me a better leader. It made me a better teacher for the kids that I work with. So thanks for doing this. And again, you got a big fan in me.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate it. Happy holidays and hope we cross paths here soon.
Same to you, my friend. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thanks, Matt.